Hello and welcome back, beautiful tribe of card lovers. We've been absent for a little while, and that's because I have made a vow to not actually get a lot of cards this year. However, this summer there has been a few incoming, so I thought I would do some reviews. And first I thought I would just introduce you to the decks that I have got lately. And this one I'm very excited about because I have been waiting for this for, let's see, 6-7 months, something like that, or longer even. I'm glad that it comes out fine on the video. And there will be a proper walkthrough and a proper comparison video as well with the light side Moonchild Tarot. The Shaman's Dream I got, I will tell you the story of this in a minute. The Mystical Lenormand, I've been working hard with Lenormand this year, and I've been working less hard with tarot. But you'll see, this is a very interesting little deck. And this was a bit of a wild card. I love Danielle Rama Hoffman, and she released this manifestation deck. I think it was end of June. I managed to get my copy in July. And then there's the tarot that I took with me on holiday. We'll say a little bit about that. And then my favorite tarot of the moment, and I would say that was before this one arrived. What a shame. Okay, so without further ado, let's put these guys away and let's get started. Let's try and do like a chronological thing actually today in the way that they arrived in my hands. Right. All right, so the Shaman's Dream was the first deck to make it into my collection this summer, and it was after Alberto Violdo, that's this person there, did a masterclass of how to read. I think it was certainly a masterclass about divination. And it was mildly interesting, the masterclass. It opens, of course, as usual, onto a full-on course, which I have not taken. And he and Colette Baron-Reid, they had done a shamanic deck already in the past, and you probably know it. I think it's the Mystical Shaman, and I had it and I no longer have it. It is a beautiful deck, but it's a far too serious deck for me. So I gave the Shaman's Dream Oracle a little bit of a chance. I wanted to see if it was going to be a little bit more accessible, I think, and a little bit less serious. So the box and everything is really well made. It's just the same quality as the previous deck. So the book is quite a good book. As you can see, my camera is not picking this up very sharp because it's badly overexposed. Let's see if that would be better. Okay. It gives you the book gives you like a really nice reading for each of the cards. What it doesn't do, as opposed to their other deck, is that it doesn't give you like rituals and different ways to read the deck. Like it doesn't give you the medicine and things like that, which the other deck did, which was really nice. That being said, I do find it a better deck to read with. It's less totally serious. It doesn't take itself so seriously, as you can see from this joyful muse. Let's just have a little, it's not going to be a full flip through, but it's just to give you an idea of what the art is like in this deck. It has some very serious cards, like the Crown Games, for example, can be seen as a very serious card, but it also has playful cards, like even this one is quite playful. Definitely the Joyful Muse is quite playful as well. The horn cactus, that can be quite a playful one. You know, it's got nice concepts to explore. I would say though that since I got it, all the other decks have come in, and so I haven't really given it the time of day, unfortunately. So I've only pulled maybe daily cards for about a week. What I was finding was quite weird, but at the same time almost expected, is that the same cards kept coming back again and again and again. I don't know if you can see the caterpillar. It's very, very much in the pink, and I think it can't cope with the amount of light. There you go, that's in the room. So yeah, Shaman's Dream. I did get it. I can't remember how much I paid for it. It wasn't a cheap deck. It was maybe 25 or something. It could have been as low as 20. I haven't really had the time to bond with it. The cards, when I was pulling them, have kept coming back as the same cards over and over and over. So, you know, that wasn't giving me much of a broad spectrum to go and have a read with, okay? So that's one to bear in mind, though, if you're interested in those types of oracles. The next deck to come in was the Magdalene Manifestation cards. And this is Danielle Rama Hoffman. She is currently preparing a trip to Egypt in February. Danielle has this body of work called the Seven-Figured Multi-Dimensional Leader, I think. You can have a look at her work. I quite like her work. It's quite interesting. I've got most of her books. So, of course, when this came out, and you can see just how it's just not managing to do anything with this. Yeah, this is a shiny cover with white and gold, so very difficult to render properly here. The deck itself is quite a huge deck, actually. So here's a normal deck. So you can see how much bigger these are. So if you have very small hands, this might not be the right deck for you. However, I don't think this is necessarily completely about divination in a traditional sense. It's more about accessing codes and accessing particular geometry to work with and bringing in particular energies into your life. So this is a very active deck, okay? And I have been working personally with it for a few weeks. And yes, it's a very active deck, okay? I will only say that. It does help you focus on the containers and what it is that you want to achieve in your life with your resources. And in that way, I find it very, very helpful. This is not a static deck, so you're going to be pulling cards, but you can organize them as containers or vortexes around your home. So this is not a static deck. You know, when I have the cards pulled, I organize them at home, and yeah, they're out. Basically, they don't go back in the box, you know, not until I pull the cards again, if that makes sense. So this is a super deck. Very, very good. The art is fabulous. You know, it really lets you access that wonderful energy, and the write-up from Danielle is amazing. Okay, I would say even just to get that write-up and get that proper input from Danielle it's really worth getting. All right, so we downsized to the Mystical Lenormand. And Mystical Lenormand is a traditional Lenormand. Is not completely completely traditional. I'll tell you why in a second. There is a book that can be had if you are in North America. However, as you know, I am in the UK and the book is unavailable, unfortunately, in the UK. Not to worry, because you can, this is still a traditional Lenormand, so you can read it as a traditional Lenormand. And the one thing that is completely different, I don't know if you can make it out, are those symbols on the cards. So they are astrological symbols. Let me see. So there's the 8th house. Let me see where I can see them. 6th house. You'll find Aries, and I'm only going to call them when I can actually see them. The sun. So you can see that there's those that have been tagged on, and the sun hasn't necessarily gone on the sun card as well, just to confuse you. The one thing that's missing from a traditional Lenormand is the pips. Okay, so this deck does not have pips. In terms of size, I find it a really nice, neat, lovely size to draw Lenormand with. You know, you can easily do a portrait. Not that I would draw a portrait like this, but just to show you how easily and how manageable the cards are. You know, if you did a 9 cards, so I mean, generally the Lenormand cards are smaller because you draw bigger layouts. So, you know, if you were to do your 9s, or you were to do your 7 extended, or you were to do a grand tableau, you know, you don't have to worry too much. It's probably going to fit on this mat here. I like the art. The art is really nice. It reads really well when it comes out. You know, there's not really much to say. The colors are a little bit muted, which doesn't take anything away because it makes the figures and characters pop out. And no, there isn't a magpie card in Lenormand, it's the ring. And I would have liked the ring to be a little bit bigger. But hey, that's just the way it is. So I like the portal aspect as well on each and every card, that the portals have been worked and they've been worked differently. So it gives you as well emphasis on the feel of the card. I don't know, it works for me. It's a nice little deck, and I thought I would take this chance to introduce it to you. And so to the main unexpected deck which fell out of the sky. I just wasn't expecting it anymore because it's been such a long time since I pre-ordered it. But it arrived on Tuesday, and I was delighted to finally see it. I was just delighted. So the finish is the usual Danielle Noel wonderful finish. This is the Dark Side Moonchild Tarot for those of you who are new to her work. You have probably seen a comparison of the Light Side Moonchild Tarot with the Starseed Tarot. And so anyway, she's gone ahead and remodel part of the deck. She's changed the coloring as well so that you access it with a slightly different frame of mind. I actually find it really restful. The change in colors, they've been quite restful for me. So again, we're going to have issues with color coming through. I'm hoping the colors come through quite true. This is a little bit pinker in real. So I'll try and fix that for the proper walkthrough. And just now, it's just to give you a feel. There are a few cards that are completely different, like the Hermit, and Temperance as well is totally different. Strength is also quite good, but all the court cards, even though she's stayed with the original figures, are quite different. That, you know, she's reworked the tones, and yeah, they're coming out almost friendlier, more mature. I don't know. I don't really know. but both my daughter and I agree that this is the deck that we would go to read rather than the light side. Now, the Moonchild card has been reworked completely, and I much prefer this one. Moon. I mean, you know, the staples are there. Temperance has been completely changed. And this Temperance card is much more dynamic. And, you know, I'll explain why in the double flip through, when we do the double flip through. And then there's cards that were very let's say the harsher cards have maybe been reworked a little bit so that they're maybe a little bit less harsh, or there's maybe a little bit more to find in them. I don't know. It works for me. It works for my daughter. I think it works for a lot of people, to be honest. I love this new High Priestess. I would have liked to have seen renaming of some of the cards. There is a renaming. There is one that I know, which is that the devil is now the veil, the dark veil. I don't know. I will look for it, and we will have a proper look at this in the proper walkthrough. So this is just a little overview and just a little glimpse, and the proper walkthrough will be out shortly. And I'm really glad I pre-ordered it, and it's just wonderful to play with it. And before the Moonchild Tarot Dark side arrived, I had been working with this consistently for a few months, which is the Light Visions Tarot. The Light Vision. Is there an S? There's an S. Light Visions Tarot. And I have it in large size and I have it in mini size, and I love the mini size because, as you can see, it just glides in your hand, it stays in your hand. It's, I don't know, I can take it anywhere with me, and I took it on my holidays this year. I've taken it absolutely everywhere when I'm away overnight, you know. It just follows me everywhere. This one, it's held up really nicely as well. You know, this one has nearly a year of use, and you can probably see there's a few cards that have suffered. The other side is probably more the one that has suffered, but yeah, you can see more scuffs on this side, but it's a really, really good quality deck. I love the monochrome feel aspect to it. And do you notice something? It's got like with this sepia purpley feel, it has like almost a very similar feel when you handle it to the Moonchild. It's just weird. I don't know. But anyway, this is a really neat little deck. It holds up really well. It's shuffleable. It's just wonderful. I take it everywhere with me. I know that they have the mini Prisma Visions as well, which is the colored one, and they have the little Cosma Vision, which is the Oracle deck, which is the green. I personally love this black and white, and especially with the small size, I think it just pops. I just love it. Just love it. But I was getting fed up, you know, getting the same cards coming out again and again and again. That's what happens when you do daily readings. You know, you will have a tendency to have the same cards with the same deck. You'll have a tendency to get the same cards over and over and over. So I decided to fish this back out, and that was probably in June. So I've been working with this for a couple of months. The first round of work with it didn't really work brilliantly for me. When I first purchased it, I kind of worked with it for about a month, and then I went, I'm not sure about this. The major arcana is reversed in this. And it had been advised to me so that you could see and engage with the major arcana in that different way. So when I was getting saturated with using the same deck and getting the same cards and getting the same messages and clearly not getting to the bottom of the message, I decided, okay, time to have a clean break and work with a completely different tarot, which is going to bring something different to look at, which is going to bring you a change in perspective. So this did it, with this reverse arcana and with loads of wildlife and, nature driven, and it reads slightly differently as well. It doesn't read exactly the same as just a standard tarot. My only issue is that you need to work with the book, and you know how much I love working with the book. But if you can see, which you probably won't be able to because it's so overexposed, you have for each card the wisdom, the essence, the counsel, and then the magic. And I really like that. And then at the top there's a keyword. And as you can see, the 10 of air, this would be like a traditional 10 of swords. But this does not read. You can pause and read if this is in focus. And this does not read like a 10 of swords. So it was really refreshing to have slightly different vision and just something different, I guess. I'm probably not going to work with it all the time. But when I look at the 4 of air, which is the 4 of swords, there's something very much air-like. So you are, sorry, that's sounds redundant, but there's just something that makes you engage with the elements in a slightly different way. Yes, I know, I keep picking the Great Mother, who is the Empress, and I have picked the Empress in the deck today as well in my daily reading, so I apologize if that card keeps coming out. It's just really interesting, and it's gonna keep me busy for a little while. There you go, the star is at number 5. So it's just an interesting, when you've had enough and you're saturated and your tarot is telling you the same thing over and over again, and you're like, okay, I can't do this anymore, but you don't really want to go to Oracle land, then this could be an interesting deck to look at. And again, it is called The Witch's Wisdom by Phyllis Curott. All right, so this concludes our little overview of the summer, and I will of course follow this up with the full walkthrough, flip through, and double flip through of the Moonchild Dark side. Okay, I will see you soon. For now, take care of yourself.